Dr. Zlo, we meet again.
Mr. Bond, you have come, but not in time to foil my dastardly plan. I'm going to...
Welcome to Stubtown. I'm your host, Discount James Bond, and this is my partner over here, Discount Russian Bad Guy.
Привет.
And today we're reviewing No Time to Die, the final Daniel Craig James Bond movie. Where to start? I kind of wasn't sure what to even really expect with this one, because I was confused as to why this movie even existed in the first place, because I was like, why does Daniel Craig even want to do another one, or how did they even convince him? So I was kind of confused as to what on earth this could even be about, that they could possibly manage to convince him to come back and do it.
I feel like it's kind of like the Avengers Endgame of James Bond movies. They just Infinity War was good, but then they needed to wrap all this shit up.
True.
That they created, and they couldn't let Daniel Craig escape until.
Right. Well, I mean, that's in general. That's why. I mean, are we gonna jump into spoilers already right away? This is quick.
No.
But we could. I mean, the thing is, like I had said before, I think I fully understand why it exists after watching it. They just the Daniel Craig's I can't come back. I'm not doing another one, and you must find a way to just canonize that.
Upon retrospective review of the other movies, I didn't realize how much lore there was between the movies. The sorry, I forgot the name of the character, but
Mr. White, is that what you're talking
Mr.
about?
White. I don't think I remembered that he was a recurring character, but they had characters, which isn't very common for James Bond to have actually important characters besides the people working at MI6 show up multiple times.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes there's comic relief characters that show up a couple times.
Yeah.
But these they were creating the Daniel Craig Bond lore.
Yeah. Universe. Yeah. Well, I mean, which I feel probably we should have seen that coming, considering that Casino Royale was a series reboot.
Yeah.
And that, which I mean, is already kind of silly because Judi Dench was still M from the Pierce Brosnan era and up into the Daniel Craig era, which was wait, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
So then what's what? So, which is a little bit confusing. But in general, there's quite a few. I mean, I completely forgot who Mr. White was, and he was in 3 movies. He was in Casino Royale. He was kind of behind Le Chiffre in Casino Royale, and then he was apparently in Quantum, which is the only Craig one that I haven't seen.
I remember his character in Casino Royale. He's at the very end. I think James Bond just appears in his car and he shoots him in the leg or something like that.
Yeah, that's the ending part, right? When he drags him off the steps or something.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that's him. Yeah, but I didn't connect the two dots. It's oh, wait a minute, that's not just some random guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just some guy.
Just
that
some
Daniel
guy
Craig feels like shooting. Yeah.
Just because that's a common trope in Daniel Craig's movies.
He likes shooting things. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people just kind of get killed.
Yeah.
I will say that is one thing though that the Daniel Craig movies did that I always had kind of a weird thing about, especially when I was a kid. When I watched it, I was always why doesn't he just shoot them? There were always
they had to have the karate chop on the back.
Yeah, right. There's always scenes in the movie where, for some reason, there's a fight that he gets into, and I'm you have a gun. Why aren't you shooting them? Or he's oh no, I'm getting hit, and it's wait, you have a gun.
Yeah.
Shoot them. So then, at the very least, Daniel Craig kind of solved that issue for me. That I was this is just weird. Why would you get into a fist fight when you can just shoot these guys? And you have no qualms killing them. You just aren't pulling the gun out to do it, which always weirded me out. But I mean, definitely rubbed people a little bit the wrong way.
Yeah.
In many respects, which I don't think is necessarily bad, because I think they eventually managed to find the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I definitely felt a good chunk of Casino Royale was man, why are you killing these people? Where he goes to the embassy and just completely blows the whole place up. I'm what are you? That's an international incident, bro.
Yeah.
You just became a 00 agent. You're about to get demoted real fast.
Well, I think they did solve the problem because the brutality was somewhat excessive. But I think one of the ways I solve the problem is having like more like cannon fodder characters that are like bad, so you don't really you don't like worry as much. You're not like, why is Bond killing these people? It's like, oh no, these are just like Russian mercenaries who happen to be here. It's okay if we kill them all.
Yeah, right. And so, taking all of that, moving on into the actual movie that we haven't necessarily talked about.
Well, yeah, we gotta get to
the context
of
the Craig movies.
Yeah.
Yes. This one was interesting. At first, I thought it was the setup at the beginning was a little bit dumb because, to be honest, I understand why they're doing it. I like that they used the Vesper Lind thing again. I do think it was a little weird that it just kind of went away for a couple movies. Like Skyfall never mentions Vesper Lind once.
Oh yeah.
Which I think was probably a subsequent. Wasn't a whole big part of Quantum.
Well, does
he was
Spectre?
Just like, I miss my girlfriend that died.
Yeah.
And
does
then,
Spectre bring her up? I don't remember.
I think they do briefly.
Well,
they do. Even in the title sequence, remember you see the shot of her like drowning again.
Yeah, that's true.
So they do bring her up again. I think what's his face? Blofeld does like a whole bit about him. I don't know. It's been a couple of years.
Well, I think this, it's the same with a lot of the other things in the movie. They felt like they needed to wrap up the established things because I feel like the end of Skyfall was them almost trying to return to a norm for James Bond, because M was traditionally
a man,
and like you everything's set up, Moneypenny, M. You expect it to go back to normal, and then it kind of does for Spectre, but not really. But I felt like they never really got back to that normal.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. I wish that. That also brings up that I wish they did more with Moneypenny, and that includes this movie. I was kind of surprised that they had this like other 007 woman. Yeah. And I was like, that's cool. Why isn't it Moneypenny doing this? They kind of set her up as like another field agent in Skyfall, and then she just never really did anything. And they were even talking about. There was like rumors that they were going to do like a spin-off movie that she hasn't gotten.
Well, do you remember at the end of Skyfall, she mentions that she's more at home at a desk than out in the field?
Yeah.
Which is that's just a kind of a throwaway. Could be a throwaway statement.
Yeah,
true. I did feel like while the other 007 I felt like was a good character. I thought.
Oh, absolutely. I don't really have any like complaints with her other than I think.
Oh yeah, I feel the same way. Like you set up her character. She was very important in Skyfall.
Yeah.
And then I don't believe she was as important nearly in Spectre.
No, not really. I feel like she could have been though. Probably. Although, like we were talking about, Spectre is kind of like a better movie when you think back on it, that they actually kind of like tied things up nicely in this one, that Spectre is kind of like, if you look at it more as like an Empire Strikes Back type movie, where it's like, it's in the middle, like there's stuff that precedes it, so you need to watch the last movie, but then also it doesn't tie together. You have to watch the next one after it. But that also probably explains why the movie's like 3 hours long, which I didn't really notice when I was watching it. I know you said you felt like it was really long, but I didn't notice. I
did check my watch, my proverbial watch, because I didn't actually have a watch.
It's because it was
a
taking
few times.
A while. That opening credit sequence took so long to come up.
I feel like a lot of the good James Bond movies have an opening action scene that's pretty well choreographed.
That's true.
And while I did feel like the intro was a little bloated, I think they needed to squeeze that tie-up of Vesper there. Because I don't know where it would have fit elsewhere in the film, because James Bond's too busy.
It's true.
And I think they needed to have that like boom, bombastic opening with.
And it would feel weird if they did the flashback sequence at the beginning with whatever her name is, Madeline, right?
Yeah.
Madeline Swan.
Madeline Swan.
I keep isn't that the same name as the woman in Pirates of the
Caribbean? That's
Elizabeth Swan. Excuse me. Okay, yeah.
Well,
I was gonna say
it was
like,
funny because Naomi. Sorry, I was confused. Naomi Harris and Naomi Watts. It's Naomi Harris who plays Moneypenny, right?
Yes.
She was in Pirates of the Caribbean. She was.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, she
was Calypso.
Oh my God, I didn't make that connection.
Yeah.
That's actually really funny. Anyways, that was like, which I also think is kind of a funny name. That's a British sounding name, and she's French. She literally speaks French, like in the beginning of the film when she's a little girl. So that was I liked the opening, but I was like, I feel like the opening credit sequence would fit after that part, but then it would make the other part awkward when he's like, "You'll never see me again," and they leave on the train. Like, I feel like it would be awkward if you cut from that, just jump straight 5 years later. That would be really awkward without like something to break the pacing.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the very least, I will say I'll give them that. They had reason to do what they did. But yeah, what else should we move on to? I was gonna have like a bullet pointed list, and then I forgot.
I think we should talk about like you can't have a James Bond movie without action. I think we should talk about the action a little
That
bit.
is true.
I think they actually did. I mean, it's hard to say because like there's so much action and like there's nothing really to push forward in the field of like action movie. You're not doing something new.
True.
You're just like, and I think they did well. Like,
Yeah.
I think that they had some cool set pieces.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah. The Cuba bar fight was excellent.
Yes.
That was really fun to
like
watch.
out in the streets too.
Yeah, out in the streets. I love when he's like punching the shit out of like two different guys, and then he just pushes them over like, the railing, and they just fall into the bar. Yeah. And then they hop up and get a drink. That was great.
Yeah, and I think they balanced out the action scenes pretty well with these moments that are a bit more exposition-y. Which also brings me to like the visual look of the film. I think Bond has never been a film that's really focused too much on cinematography.
No, not particularly.
Like it's good, but I think what they did with the lighting was interesting. Like they chose to shoot at the sunset very often and have strong light on one side of the frame, which gives it much more of a visual, maybe not appeal, but like visual
taste.
Aesthetic.
Taste.
It's more aesthetic. Yeah.
I mean, it was like, I even leaned over to you at the beginning and I was like, is this a James Bond movie? Yeah. Like, this is like a horror, this is like a slasher film. Like, what on earth are we watching? I mean, and like the part of that was just like the way it was like lit and everything. When you had I do really like that part where she's like, Mom, help, get up. And you can see the shadow move by. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I think also they throughout the whole movie with all these scenes they threw in a lot of little Easter eggs and references.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like Safin is very much like a Dr. No type character.
Oh, the whole thing. I told you when I was like, this is really Dr. No. Like it looks like they're going to Crab Key.
It's been a long time since a Bond villain has been Russian, but Bond's traditional. I feel like Bond in Russia has had a long history, and they needed to like have a Russian Bond villain, which is kind of confusing because I was like, wait a minute, is this guy supposed to be Russian? Because his accent wasn't Russian. Rami Malek is not Russian.
Yeah, right.
His name wasn't
unusual.
really Russian. It was like something like Tartaric. Combined with Georgian something or other.
Yeah. Well, his name is
Lucifer Safin.
Lucifer Satan.
Yeah.
It's so
that's
corny.
So
but
Bond.
It's
that's very Bond.
Super
very
Bond,
corny.
though. Yeah.
I think he was a good villain.
I mean, to be fair, the leader of Spectre is Ernst Stavro Blofeld.
Yeah.
So I mean, like Ernst. Who names their kid Ernst?
I think
Ernst.
I think that Javier Bardem's character in Skyfall was a slightly better villain.
Stronger? Yeah.
Yeah, like
absolutely.
more compelling. Mm-hmm. Like his motive and his insanity.
Yeah, made a lot more
sense. I didn't
sense.
really feel like Rami Malek's, Safin's insanity and motive was really explored well enough.
It wasn't.
Why did he go from wanting to clean up the world with this? Are we doing spoilers now?
Sure.
Okay, warning, spoiler. Skip to some time frame that we'll put here if you don't want spoilers. Using nanobots to like clean the world from crime and stuff to killing like 50% or more of the world's population.
Yeah,
that was a little
Europe.
lost on me. Yeah.
I want a glass Europe, but why?
Yeah. What does that achieve?
He says like he never really explained.
I
they had
think
like
he has the
3
God
hours.
complex thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But still.
But he had like they had like 3 hours of runtime and they couldn't like talk about it too much. I mean, they closed off Blofeld.
Yes.
Which I was not expecting. I didn't think Blofeld would be in this at all. I forgot that he even survived Spectre. So then the fact that he's like in jail somewhere, I was like, wait, Christoph Waltz is in this?
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah.
So, which actually I think was quite good. But
I thought
that's
it was good that they. I think Christoph Waltz is a great actor.
Yeah.
And I think they
It
would
did
have
him
done
justice.
his. Yeah,
It
his
did him
character
justice.
needed justice.
because the last movie just wasn't very much
Yeah.
of like substance,
Yeah.
really. So I mean, it definitely tied together nicely. But it was
But-
like, I wish I knew like anything about like why. I mean, it just kind of felt like the plot was moving in that direction just because they needed it to.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't like really explain like why is Rami why do you want to kill half of Europe? It's just, oh my God,
Yeah.
he's planning to kill half of Europe. I'm like, but why?
I think they took a lot of inspiration from. I might get flack from saying this, but I think they took a lot of inspiration from the new Mission Impossible movies for this. There's a character very similar to it has in a similar situation to Blofeld, who's kind of, even though he's imprisoned, he's still kind of like in part
Pulling
of
the
this.
strings,
Yeah,
yeah.
a little bit. And then there's kind of the yuppie like CIA character who like acts like he's cool for a bit, but is also annoying. Then flip flops. And turns out to be a bad guy.
That guy was man. He has the most punchable like young Republican. He looks
Yes.
like Madison Cawthorn to me.
And then the female agent that he meets, who's not, I think she's CIA.
Yeah, that girl.
She's very similar to a character in Mission Impossible,
Okay.
like kind of acts like unassuming. I wouldn't say ditzy. Acts a little unassuming, then all of a sudden does all these karate
not ditzy,
flips
but yeah.
and flips and stuff, and then the main character Bond,
Damn,
or in
3
that
weeks of
case, Ethan Hunt is kind of like, whoa, this is not who I expected. This is a
right.
girl boss right here.
Jeez. Yeah.
But I think I didn't really have a problem with that. I mean, of course, a spy action movie is going to do
right.
similar things as another spy action
Yeah,
movie,
right.
and definitely.
I'm glad he got crushed by a Range Rover. Fuck
Yes.
that guy.
Yeah. Speaking of villains, though.
What have you kept me? No.
Speaking of villains, though, we can't talk about villains or wrap up the our discussion here without discussing the villain's lair, the final sequence.
Oh, yeah.
Because in James Bond, like the lair, the final meeting,
It's always
like it always kind of looks similar in
My
a way. It's like
prized
a
possession.
giant space with concrete.
Oh, it's always brutalist.
Yeah, it's like some
absolutely.
brutalist space that looks kind of fake, but also kind of.
There's usually some like indulgence. He's like, I have a garden. You know. It's
Yes.
like there's always some indulgence.
It's like some tranquility. Yeah, it's like
exactly.
yeah, I'm farming like nanobots with plants. I still don't really get the
This is
science
my
behind
garden.
that.
It
But I
has
have
poison
my
in
death
it.
garden. This one,
death
all
garden.
my plants do different things.
This one will kill you slowly. Yeah. Just
This
stuff
one will
like
make
that.
you a good girl for mommy.
Yeah. So that sounds really weird out of context.
Yeah,
but
no, I don't know.
This one will
I
make you
think I
do
misquoted
anything
that
you're
one.
told. I do just like, but then since we're talking about the film, I mean, I did like the layer.
Yeah.
I thought the layer was cool. I liked that they tossed the scientist guy into like the pit,
the
with,
acid
like, the DNA
bite-
acid
yeah.
pit,
Yeah.
or whatever. It was like, yeah, okay, that guy was really annoying.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm happy with that part.
I think.
but
I wonder if he was a kind of a throwback to Boris in GoldenEye. He's
Yeah,
kind of a comedic
probably.
relief Russian
Yeah.
character who dies in a very brutal way.
I'm too smart
and as
for
a devil
you.
is
Yeah.
like, I am invincible.
Yeah, right.
Gets
exactly.
like frozen by
Gets
liquid nitrogen.
Frozen, yeah. I mean, but going off of the layer now, I mean, the ending was, it was a climax that I would say I was probably kind of expecting, and it made a lot of sense. I mean, the whole like when I thought it was kind of funny that he shows back up like without an entourage. He shows up alone, which I was like, okay, that's very like Bond villain. No, I go alone. I stop him myself.
Yeah.
But like I also like that Bond shoots approximately, I don't know, 5,000 people in that end sequence and never gets a scratch on him. And then the second Rami Malek shows up, he gets shot 3 times.
Yeah. Well, it's like
wait, what?
Well, I think that's another trope, like the disposable like bad guys.
Yeah, they
like,
can't hit
like,
anything.
Yeah, these like all these like Russian guys who just like fall, like they get shot once with this tiny little Bond handgun, and they're like, and like fall, like they jump backwards, like they're hit by a grenade or something.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then all of a sudden Rami Malek shows up, who looks like he's never shot a gun before. Something felt very weird about.
He's like wearing his bathrobe, and he's like,
yeah, exactly. Something about Rami Malek holding a gun just doesn't seem right.
Well, that's the thing, is like he's supposed to be like older than he is, I think. So
yeah,
he looks kind of like a
exactly.
little kid/old man, like holding a handgun.
He looks like somewhere between 12 and 60.
Yeah,
so
like a combination of all the above.
Yeah, a combination of both.
Yeah.
So but then I will say, I mean, I liked their final fight with each other and his last little like monologue-y bit. But I think it was on the one hand, I do like that he kind of denies him the satisfaction of like a real dramatic death by just shooting him.
Yeah.
But I do really wish that we got a real like I said, I really wanted to just drown him. I wanted him to I want a good like drowning death.
Oh yeah.
Bond. I want him to like really slam him into the water.
Expecting, because they're fighting in this like thing that opens. I was expecting it to like be slowly opening and they'd be fighting like on it, and then he'd fall into the acid pit like the other guy, because the acid pit's underneath.
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't think of
Like
that.
I was
Yeah,
expecting
guess
more
that's
brutal, because I was, the Bond villain death is usually the most brutal.
Yeah, right.
Or
That's
one of the most
true.
brutal
Very,
deaths.
very important part. Yeah,
like,
right.
you know it's
yeah.
gonna happen, but this one was kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like a messy struggle in a
Right.
in a bathtub thing.
But in the same vein as Dr. No, I was expecting the Dr. No ending. I think just because it was like everything was leading up to the fight in the water, I was like he's gonna like toss him in and he's gonna drown or something like that, or he's gonna like strangle him there. I like that he broke his arm though.
Oh,
That
yeah, I was like,
that was
yeah.
crazy. That was like, whoa. I mean, they talk
no,
about
he didn't just break
Good
his arm. He like
Lord.
completely dislocated.
Yeah, no,
it.
he like grabs it and just. I was like, oh my god, Jesus, man.
All right. Final
get our
thoughts.
final verdict?
What's our
Yeah,
consensus?
And with the end of Daniel Craig's Bond, let's see. Gosh, it's kind
We
of
should
tough.
rate it on its bondiness and then also its quality as a film.
Okay.
Like what's its bondiness to you, from a scale of like Live and Let Die, from a scale of like View to a Kill to Skyfall.
Okay, so
And that's not good to bad. That's like cheesy versus
versus serious, because Skyfall is not cheesy.
Yeah,
At
it's
all.
Probably one of the most
Yeah.
serious Bond
Right.
movies.
Yeah. You said this one had too much comedic relief. I disagree, but
Okay, I don't think it was
you know,
too much. I thought
yeah.
sometimes it was intrusive a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
but
So
that's just me.
I would
nitpicking.
say, and are we doing out of 5 again? What do we want to do?
Yeah, so one
Letterboxd?
is A View to a Kill and 5 is Skyfall.
I would say this one maybe gets like a 3 or a 4.
Yeah.
I'd say, because it has the characters and it has a lot of the tropes, and it does take itself fairly seriously.
Yeah.
But it's also, I mean, if we're looking at this from the classic Bond standpoint, he doesn't talk his way out of as much as he does shooting his way out of things,
Yeah.
which is kind of the Daniel Craig staple, that he isn't a really talkative, like, smooth, he's not always the really like planned Bond. That Daniel Craig just kind of like starts shooting at things.
Yeah.
So I would say that in that respect, it maybe lands at a 3, depending on what your perspective is.
I was going to say 3
Yeah,
also, because it has a little bit of that cheese in there.
It's got
a little bit of the
yeah,
like
just a little-
tropes, the typical Bond
Yeah.
elements.
I mean, he gets away from the chase right at the very beginning by like swinging on a rope. So
Yeah. Or he does donuts in a car with miniguns
donuts in
on
the
it.
car with the minigun on it. Yeah, that too. Mm-hmm.
And then out of 5, like film quality rating, like.
I would say that it would get a reduced score because of the runtime, but also because it held my attention the whole time. I would say that honestly, I don't think that that's like a thing that I would.
It's not a big problem. No. It was
So
alright.
I would probably give it like a 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3.5, but I don't think 3.5 or 7 out of 10. I don't think that's quite enough. I'd say maybe like 3.75 or 4.
Okay. I mean, I almost want to give it higher, but I don't really want to. So
Yeah.
it just
I'll say
it
4.
tied up
4.
nice.
I think 4. 4
Okay,
for me.
Okay. It tied up nice. It just there were some things with the.
I think it's kind of a tried and true formula movie.
True. Yeah. I would say that's definitely true.
it's not like the next, I don't know, it's not like as stylish as or crazy as like Mad Max or something,
Yeah.
but
This isn't Skyfall 2.
it's also, it's not like some
but it's
wine
not that far off.
drinking drama either, but
Yeah, true. Mm-hmm. All right.
yeah, 4 out of 5.
Yeah, that's our final verdict on No Time to Die. We didn't even talk about the song. It was okay.
It was all right.
It was all right. Yeah, that's what I'll say about it. I don't know that
An
Billie
all right
Eilish's
song
voice
by
works
Billiam
so great.
Eyestash.
Jesus. All right. I think we're ready to wrap up.
Okay.
Join us next time when we cover something else. We haven't decided yet.
Something exciting, something
cool.
compelling, maybe something spooky. Who knows?
Maybe.